What's going on, guys? This is Redline here, bringing you guys another Outriders build video. This is a build based around a Technomancer Flame Leper set. A few notable facts about the build is that it's great for ad clear, and I would say this is probably a different version of the Flame Leper build that you've usually seen involving Cold Snap. This one does not involve Cold Snap. This is focused around mainly getting the most out of your toxic damage or your blight fire damage. So you pretty much going to be seeing like high numbers when it comes to the tick damage from the toxic. Here's a quick clip showing off the type of numbers you can expect using this build. Over 650k per tick. It does great damage against elites. I would say the damage is probably like above average when it comes to arbiters. Those are probably, yeah, at the moment it's probably the strongest bosses in the game. So yeah, I would say the damage is probably above average. It does get the job done. It can work great in solo or groups, and it's pretty easy to use. It's not really much complicated to use in it anyway. So let's get into the skills and the class tree. So we're going to be using Fix and Wave, release your energy to restore 66% of max health to all players and 66% of health to your turrets regardless of distance. Blighted rounds fill your current weapons magazine with decay infused bullets that inflict toxic onto enemies. Enemies within a small radius of the main target also receive toxic and 50% of damage. The skill lasts until you reload or switch weapons. And then Blighted Turret, place an automated turret that deals 139,313 damage and inflicts toxic onto enemies. The turret's health depletes slowly over time when it takes damage. Okay, so I know it looks a little weird, but we're going to start out with the anomaly power, getting resistance, piercing, disturbance, coding, anomaly power, resistance, anomaly power, and then we're going to go up here to wipe out. Enemies below 30% health receive 20% more damage. Health, armor, health, and then we're going to go up here to exposing toxin. Every time toxic is afflicted on an enemy, vulnerable status is inflicted as well. So of course, adding vulnerable to it is going to give us, help us do more damage. And then we're going to go down here to adrenaline and internalize the antenna. Activating decay skills increases your anomaly power for you and your allies for 30% for 10 seconds. And then you're going to go down here in the toxicologist. Toxic inflicted on enemies lasts 30% longer. And then anomaly power, anomaly power. And we're going to get decay toxin. Increases toxic damage by 20%. That's going to be important. Resistance piercing, anomaly damage, anomaly power. And team player decreases elites damage against you and your allies by 10%. Anomaly power, and then another decay toxin, increase toxic damage by 20%. So you're gonna we're going with this class nodes, gonna give you pretty much an extra 40% in toxic damage, and you don't really need to get this tech bond because it has nothing to do with the build itself. The pack tree went with the Undying. Every 5% of your missing health increases your weapon leech or skill leech by 5%. Override, your anomaly power is increased by 100%. Your skill leech, since the current bonus is 28%. Of course, if you got the right, if you got like other purple pieces or whatever, you're going to be able to increase that skill leech bonus for higher. And then Apothecary, you pulse every 5 seconds, healing all players within 25-meter radius for 2% of all damage done by you between each pulse. And then Hasten Influence, reduce remaining cooldowns of one of your skills by 1 second for every status removed by you or applied to an enemy by any player. And then Burying Charge, critical shots inject enemies with an explosive charge for 5 seconds, dealing 250% of anomaly power as damage upon the next critical shot, taking a 3-second cooldown. So Burying Charge is pretty strong. Like it deals a lot of damage when you are able to inject those enemies with an explosive charge. The 250% of anomaly power is a lot. So as long as you got pretty much you got high anomaly power, you're gonna be landing like some really 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 hard bullets. Now the ascension tree, these are the nodes that I prefer that you go with. Um, you want to spec into anomaly power, resistance piercing, status power, and anomaly damage. So those are the main four that you want to go into. You don't have to worry too much about cooldown because um, as you're going to be inflicting toxin, uh, haste and influence is going to be kicking in. So it's going to be lowering the cooldowns as you inflict toxin on everybody anyway. So you don't have to worry too much about cooldowns. And then I just put I try to increase my max health and I put some in the skill leech. But those are the main four though. These are the main four that you want to put your points into. Now let's get into the gear and the weapons. Okay, so let's start out by reading the set bonus of the Flame Leper. Inflicting toxic on the enemy 3 times transforms the status into black fire, which deals more damage over time. So once you inflict toxic 3 times, the toxic damage is going to turn into black fire, which is going to do a whole lot more damage than toxic over time. Now let's start with the weapon. I'm using the Emerald Chaos, which is, in my opinion, one of the best rolls that I have for this build. It comes with noxious spawns. Successful shot spawn 3 anomaly projectiles that move towards the enemy with the highest health, dealing 289,313 damage and applying toxic to the target and enemies within a 1 minute range. So when you have your blighted rounds active, your projectiles are going to be doing a whole lot more damage than what's being shown. The probably the best part about this mod is that the 3 anomalies projectiles that spawn has unlimited range. So no matter where the enemies are on the field, those anomaly projectiles will seek them out and deal damage and apply toxic. The second mod I have is Fortress. Shots increase your current armor and resistance by 5%, stacking up to 3 times. At maximum stacks, the buff is double and additionally grants 25% damage increase for 10 seconds. So once you build up once you build this up and it activates, you get that 25% damage increase. That damage increase is going to apply to everything that is doing damage. So the noxious spawn is going to do 25% more damage. Uh, my blighted turret is going to be doing 25% more damage. My fixing wave is going to be doing 25% more damage. Just everything. And then in the third slot, I have resistance breaker. Shots decrease your target's resistance by 35% for 6 seconds. So any bullet I land is going to reduce the target's resistance by 35%, meaning they're going to be taking more damage from my toxic or black fire. Um, if you want to, you can equip a second weapon in this slot. This is the one I use for bosses and ads. But if you want, you can equip a second weapon, which I will probably do this for arbiters because elites are not that hard to take down. But if you want, you can equip a second weapon to go against the arbiter. I have this one in my second slot to go against the arbiter. I think I've used it like once or twice, but I mainly use my Emerald Chaos. But you can equip a boss weapon in your second slot for the arbiter and use that for your blighted rounds to try to take them out a bit faster. So started with the helmet. I have in the first slot alchemical mastery, blighted rounds. While the skill is active, receive a weapon damage or anomaly power bonus equal to 15% of your status power based on whichever is higher. And then I have radical therapy in the second slot and euthanize in my third slot. RNG guys blessed me with this helmet. Um, so I was pretty happy when I got this. And then on my chest piece, I have party starter. Fix and wave. The strength of the skill increased by 8% for each enemy within the arena up to 100%. So basically, the more enemies you got, the stronger the fix and wave is going to be. And then I have quartermaster in the third slot. Activating the skill replenishes your current weapon magazine for you and your allies. This is going to be key for maintaining your blighted rounds. And then in my third slot, I have hazardous modifications for the blighted turret. The turret now fires toxic confused projectile that deals 45,456 more damage and has 50% increased attack range. This mod right here is not required for this build, but this mod has come in handy with with increasing the damage of my blighted turret, but it's definitely not a requirement for this build, so you don't have to worry about this mod. On my pants, I have Viral Compound, dealing 10% more damage to elites afflicted by toxic or blight fire. Afflicted elites explode when killed, dealing 162,093 damage and spreading the status to other enemies within a 5-meter radius. And then in my second slot, I have Bad Medicine. Overheal players inflict toxic and deal 4,813 damage for every percent of overheal in a 10-meter radius. So if you're at 100% health and you overheal for 100%, then you're going to do that 4,813 times 100. And that's how much you're going to be doing for your toxic damage, your initial toxic damage. I have Super Collider in the third slot, but that's a dead mod. So I have these legendary gloves with to the bone at the top. For blighted rounds, when the skill is active, your anomaly damage is increased by 15%. So since toxic is considered anomaly damage, I'm going to be doing an extra 15% from a blight fire or toxic. And then I have Toxic Piercer. The effectiveness of toxic is increased by 40%. The bonus is equal to 100% of your resistant piercing. So this 40% plus the anomaly damage from the blighted rounds, which is 55%. And then the two nodes that I have to increase my toxic damage by another 40%, I'm going to be doing an extra 95% damage from blight fire in my toxic. And then I have these boots. I happen to get lucky. RNG guys bless me again with these boots. I put enriched anthrax at the top for blighted to increase determined damage by 45,456. Then I have Phantom Dash, and then in the third slot I have Unstoppable Force. Increases your anomaly power by 50% of your resistance piercing. As a side note, the only mod that you need on these boots, or just in general, is from these boots is Unstoppable Force. You do not need Enriched Anthrax or Phantom Dash. So, as a suggestion, if you don't have these boots, I would suggest that you find a set of boots that has Reticle Therapy in the second slot, and then replace the top slot with Unstoppable Force. That's my suggestion to you all for those who would who don't have this role or whatever. So yeah, let's get into the tips and strategies to how to use the build. Okay, so like I said, this build is pretty easy to use, so I'm gonna keep this section short and sweet. Now the strategy to this build is really simple: poison everything. As long as you poison everything, your build is gonna be doing a whole lot of damage. You're gonna be getting that black. You're gonna be applying black fire in no time. As the description says, you only need to poison 3 enemies, and then you'll be able to get or apply toxic 3 times, and then it activate black fire. It's kind of like I want to say it's kind of like not necessarily on the cooldown, but you can see that your hands will be lighting up green once you have blight fire activated. So once you have applied toxic 3 times, your hand will turn green, and you'll be applying block fire like automatically instead of just toxic. But after so long, it'll go away. So you have to reapply toxic 3 more times, and then blight fire activate. But I mean, that ain't nothing to it as long as you got your blight rounds up, and and everything else pretty much is applying black fire. So that's the main strategy build. Just poison everything as much as you can. Tip number 1. Sometimes it only takes a little bit. When you're dealing with enemies with far away, all you have to do is land a few bullets to apply toxic. Noxious spawn is going to activate, and that's going to apply toxic and activate black fire. So you don't always have to aim down sights with everybody. Like that doesn't this build doesn't require you to do that. You want your toxic to do the most damage. You want your toxic to apply to everybody and everything. Like I said, the strategy is to poison everything. When you're dealing with elites, those are the main ones that you really want to focus fire on, because they take a little bit longer to kill. But other than that, when you're dealing with enemies that are close up, when you're getting bum rushed, then you want to just hit fire and make sure you land those shots to make sure you apply that toxic and activate Blight Fire, and then you can just keep it moving. So as you can see, I activate Fixing Wave just to eliminate that group, and it took nothing. I just kept it moving. You're gonna see me here throughout my turret, and I'm gonna land a few shots. You see the Noxious Spawn activating. Some enemies you're not even gonna even need to hit at all because Noxious Spawn is just gonna take care of them. Tip number 2: continuously fix your wave. You want to make sure that when you have your fixing wave up, that you're gonna be using it as much as possible because it's gonna it's gonna heal you. B, it's gonna apply toxic, and 3, it's gonna refill your blight rounds. So fixing wave is very important when you have it up, and especially when you're getting bum rushed by a lot of enemies. You may want to make sure that you're near the enemies to make sure you get the full potency of your blight fire or toxic whenever you apply it, because the more enemies that's on the field, the stronger your fixing wave is going to be based off of the 8% per enemy that's on the field. Now, even when you don't have enemies around, you want to make sure that you're still using your fixing wave to make sure that you have a full clip of blighted rounds at all times, because without it, your damage is going to go way down. So you're going to see in this clip as that I'm using fixing wave as I get low ammo, so I can make sure that I have a full clip at all times. Now, you may run into a situation to where you're not paying attention and you actually end up running out of blighting rounds. Now, if that happens, all you have to do is hit fixing wave and then dodge, and that'll cancel the reload animation, and you'll still have your blighted rounds. As you can see, I realize I run out of bullets. When I see my character start doing the reload animation, I fix a wave and dodge, and I got my blighted rounds back. Now let me show you a clip of the difference between having your blighted rounds up and having your blighted rounds down. So as you can see, I'm doing like really big numbers: 200,000, 600,000, 3 million. Like, my numbers is really high with it. Now I end up forgetting to do the dodge animation, so I end up missing reloading my blighted rounds. So my damage significantly went down after that, and as you can see, my numbers went from the hundreds to 6,000, 8,000. Even my tick damage is low. Like, it is a really significant difference. So you want to make sure that you got your blighted rounds up at all times with fixing wave. So that's pretty much the build, guys. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. Hopefully everything was explained well. You're gonna notice with this build that the tick damage is really high. The only negatives that I would say about this build is that when you lose your blighted rounds, you're gonna lose a good chunk, like a good chunk of the potency of the build. So you want to make sure that you have your blighted rounds up at all times during the run. And also which, I mean, it's really not that big of a deal. But your fixing wave is less potent the less enemies you have. So like, if you only got like one enemy on the field, then your fixing wave is not gonna be that potent at all. Like, if you got like 1 or 2 enemies on the field, it's not gonna work. It's not gonna be as strong at all. But other than that, man, I'm gonna leave you guys with some gameplay to show the build in its full form, and hopefully you guys enjoyed it. And it's going to encourage you guys to try a different version of the Flame Leper build. So with that being said, like, comment, subscribe, and tell me what you guys think of the video. And with that being said, Redline out.
cleared a courtyard with one of those wishing wells in the middle.
Great. Do you see a way to descend?
Sure, Doc. Let me just grab my climbing gear and some rope.
Point taken.
What was that noise?
Storm's trying to compete with me. Wants to see who can level this place faster. So far, I'm winning. Pulling ahead. I'm heading under a roof till this thing clears.
We're moving the camp to Shelter 2. Stay safe, Outrider.
Whoops. Like I wasn't the only one with this idea. I found some treasure. Pax wine cellar. Mission accomplished, folks.
Priorities, please. You're looking for artifacts of unrivaled historical merit.
Wonder what the vintage is on these.
If the Pax were last making alcohol when that bastard Monroy showed up,
Guys, I take it back. This is a treasure. Underground well scrape.
I'd like to see once the storm clears.
Right by signal. Yes.
Looks like this one could linger over us for a while.
Well, at least I have a nice view and something to drink.
hey, save some for the rest of us.
No promises.
Outrider detected. Access granted.
I wish I was sharing a bottle with you, Jakob. I miss you.